kind of Virasana, but you can be cross-legged if that's better. Yeah. And then at first, let's make a little side-to-side wobble. And just notice if you have a tendency to favor one side or the other. Sometimes we are just a little lopsided. So try to land here right in the center. And then when you do, let's pause there and take the hands right to the very top of the pelvis. And you'll tip a little forward and a little back. Okay, kind of similar to a cat-cow. Yeah. And here too, notice if you have a tendency to be more in the forward position or more in the back position. And try to land this one with a little bit of lumbar curve, just normal curve. Press down with the hands and lengthen up through the sides of the waist, up through the trunk. And see if you can maintain the length and the lift, but relax the shoulders, relax the face, and let the hands rest. And if it feels good to close the eyes, you can close the eyes and really see if you can relax the muscles around the eyes and the forehead. And as you take the next couple of breaths, just take a moment for yourself to arrive into the space. Even though there might be some distractions, just let that happen. Just life has distractions. And see if you can move your awareness into the lower back and the lower abdomen. And as you take the next couple of breaths, just notice naturally what movement is happening in the lower back and the lower abdomen. And then we'll create a little extra here. So as the inhale happens, just relax a little bit. And then as the exhale happens, see if you can create a little bit of tone through the abdomen. All sides of the waist hugging in, a little bit of a broadening through the lower back. And then when you inhale, let that go somewhat. Yeah, so we'll take that a few times. The exhale, all sides hug in, little tone through the front, little width through the back. And take just a few more breaths with that in mind. And then we'll let that go. Let the eyes blink open. Let's take the arms out and up. And grab a hold of the left arm. Pull up and then take a small side bend over to the right. Yes. And then up we come. Pull up and over we go to the left side. Yes. And then up we come. Let's undo the hands. Give the wrists a few little circles and bring the arms down. And then just a little breath with movement here. Inhale, we come up. Exhale to turn to the right. Let the arms move apart. Inhale, we come up. And exhale, we turn to the left. Yeah, let's take one more of those on each side. Great. And then this last time we come up through the center. And then turn the palms out. Just press out and down as we release the arms. Yeah, and then let's come out of this position. So you'll come forward and take the legs just one at a time back with a little bit of movement. And I'm going to switch this over that to the other side here. All right. Great. Now, I'll recommend for the next little section to lay down on the belly. If that doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for me, you could be in all fours position. If you are laying down on the belly, let's have the hands folded and the forehead just resting down on the hands. Yeah. And then take one leg at a time, just kind of scooch back and come down so you have a little more room for the front of the pelvis there. Yeah. And now as you're in this position, kind of like what we just did, take a breath in. And as you exhale, create a little tone through the lower abdomen, creating a little bit of width across the lower back, but this is subtle, it's not aggressive. And then on the inhale, you'll relax the belly and take a few more times. So the exhale, we create a little tone through the belly, little width across the low back, and on the inhale, relax. Yeah, so it's a little bit similar to a cat-cow, but it's more subtle than that. It's not a huge movement. And now typically in a yoga practice, we would do a lift on an inhale, like a leg lift or an arm lift. But for the moment, I'm going to have us do it on the exhale. So the next time the exhale comes, let the right leg lift up as the low belly is lifting, and you find that width across the lower back. And then the inhale will set it down and prepare for side two. So the exhale, we find the lift in the belly and the leg. And inhale, we come down. So as you keep going with this, what I'm hoping is that you feel the work right where the gluteal fold is, where the hamstrings and the gluteus come together. And every time you lift the leg, think of lifting more through the inner thigh than the outer thigh. And try not to let the pelvis wobble from side to side. Yeah, great. Next time the left side is finished, we'll take a little break, just stay on the belly, and now do let the pelvis wobble from side to side. And then let's take just a little break from this position. You can press back into child's pose, and then within the child's pose, if you wanted to add in a little side to side, little kind of wobble, anything like that, go ahead and do. And then let's take the arms forward and go on to spider fingers. So the tips of the fingers, and walk both hands a little bit to the right. Draw back through the left hip. Yeah, that's it. And then we'll walk both arms over to the left and draw back a little through the right hip. Great. All right. So let's come back. Let me show you this one. So you can, of course, do this on the belly. I can do it from the all fours. We'll wedge a block between your tush and the foot. And then same thing as before. On the exhale, you'll lift the belly, you'll lift the thigh. And because we have the block, it won't be able to lift quite as high. Yeah? So let's try that. Let's do the right side first. And wedge it in there. Yeah. It might be hard to get it in. Yeah, Sarah, pull it up a little more towards your head, a little bit more, and then angle it. So, yeah, that looks good. That looks good. Yeah. All right, friends. So we're going to do the right side. Let's do 5. So we'll breathe in. On the exhale, tone the belly like we did before. Let the leg lift, and it's not going to lift very much. And then inhale, set it down. Yeah, do that a few more times. And again, we want to lift on the exhale. We want to find the lift through the belly so that the muscles in the low back don't take over. We want it to be in the back of the leg, the hamstrings, the gluteals on the right side. Yeah. Is the block not cooperating? Not cooperating. Yeah. If the block's not working out, you can just take it out and do it with the knee bend without the block. And then I lost count. I think that's about 5. Let's take it out. You can wiggle a little bit and then set up for the second side. Same thing. That's it. And remember here, we'll lift on the exhales. The low belly lifts, the low back widens. Good. Don't be alarmed at how little the leg moves. Great. After you've done your 5, that's enough of that. Release the leg, release the block. Make another little wiggle, little wobble. Oh, yeah, great. And then I think after all of those, a down dog might just hit the spot. So let's come on in. Take your time to get into the position, and oh yeah, once you're here, go ahead and add in a little pedal with the legs. You can shift the hips from side to side. You can add in a little rotation. Just take a moment for whatever you need to do to release the previous work. Great. All right, and then from here, friends, let's take the feet wide, about maximum distance apart. Bend your knees and walk your arms back. Prop up for a second with the forearms right on the thighs. You're in the squat position. Press your weight more into the heels, and at the tops of the thighs, widen. Press away from the midline. Let's create some tone in the abdomen, and then we'll come up back to here slowly. So press down into the floor, into the heels, out and up come the arms. Eventually, we're up here. Yes. And then the arms come down. Stay here, just relax a little. You can soften the knees. You can take a little figure eight, whatever feels good. Yeah. And then let's stay at the back of the mat. And we'll come again into that squat pose, but don't go too low because we're going to gradually lower a little bit more and a little bit more. So keep your wide stance. Let the knees bend, let the hips shift back, and let's take your hands at first to the top of the pelvis and do that little cat-cow tilt. And land with the pelvis in neutral, right in the middle. Yeah? From here, keep that. Press down straight through the center of the heels and press out through the thighs. Let's take hands to prayer. Yeah. And now as long as it's feeling okay for your body, go down a little bit more. Let the pelvis shift back a little bit more. Continue to press down through the heels and out through the upper thighs. Yeah, one more time. Sink a little lower if you're able to. And then I know it's so tempting when we get up just to spring up, but see if you can continue that slow motion. Up we come, the thighs press apart, the heels drive down, out and up come the arms. Gorgeous, we're gonna go again. Knees bend, hips shift back, don't go too low quite yet. Press out through the upper thighs, down through the heels. And then if it's possible, sink a little lower, shift a little further back without letting the pelvis tuck under. Yeah. And then one more time, a little lower, a little further back without letting the pelvis tuck under. If you're lower than I am, that's fine. This is about as low as I go. And then from here, slowly, slowly, out and up we come. Oh, yeah. Sarah, marvelous. So slow. All right. And then this next one, we're just coming down. Yeah, no fanfare. Let's reset hands to the shins. Halfway lift, chest comes forward. And then lower it down. Walk the hands forward here. Let's come into our all fours position. Hands and knees. And then take the knees a little closer than you normally do, a little closer to each other. And let the hips go a little side to side, kind of like a slalom skiing endeavor. Good. Great, and then let's pause. This time take the knees a little bit wider. Feet go closer together, and then we'll shift back into child's pose or something like it. Forearms to the floor, palms face down. On the next inhale, try to drag the floor back. Broaden the collarbones, lift the hips a bit, lift the elbows a bit. And then on the exhale, lower it down. Take that twice more. Inhale, we find a little pull, little lift. And exhale, back down. One more time, little pull, little lift. And then back down. I said one more time, it's kind of a half time. So do it again to come back up to your all fours. And then let's reset the legs so the knees are right underneath the hips. Take the right leg back, toes tuck under, and just give yourself a little movement back and forth for a second. Now this will be just like what we did on the belly a second ago. Broaden the collarbone. Inhale. As we exhale, we'll lift up through the low belly, lift up through the right leg. Try not to arch the back in that position. On the inhale, you'll lower a little. On the exhale, lift the belly, broaden the low back, and lift the leg a little more. Do that one more time. Inhale, lower a little. And then you'll come up on the exhale, lift up from the inner thigh. Stay there, breathe normally. Take the right leg a little bit out to the side, straight out to the right, and then straight back and down. Yeah. Side two. Okay. Yeah, okay, back and forth we go. I think we're far enough away though, if it does fall, it won't be a problem. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, he pulled it back up. Oh, that's good news. That's great news. Okay, and then let's pause. Broaden the collarbones. Lift a little through the low belly. We'll breathe in. Use the exhale to lift. The belly stays lifted as the leg lifts. And then the inhale, we come down a little bit. Exhale, we lift the belly, lift up through the legs, tone the abdomen. Inhale, lower a little bit. Take it one more time here on the exhale. You'll stay up, breathe normally, and then take the leg out to the side. That's it. Back to the center. And down we come. Let's go to child's pose. Put the hands to the palms face up and curl the fingers in and out. If it feels good to wobble the hips a bit, you can. Yeah. All right, guys. Let's head into downward facing dog pose again. Go ahead and just get there, and then we'll add in some stuff within the position. Yeah, if you need to pedal again, I feel like I do, you can. Great. And then let's pause here, and for this one, bring the feet a little closer together than you normally do. Bend the knees, press the mat down and forward, send the hips up and back. Keep the hips up and back as the legs go any amount straighter that you can without rounding and without pulling forward. So for some of us, that'll be a straight leg. Some of us, that'll be a little bent. Now, can you lift the right leg a little bit off the floor? Press back through the heel, and the left heel will start to sink down a little more, and you might get a big juicy calf stretch. Yeah, let's change sides. So the right foot comes next to the left. The left leg lifts just a little bit off the floor. Reach back through the left heel and downward through the right heel. Oh, yeah. Good. And then let's return the feet into downward facing dog pose. Bend the knees and either bring the hands to the feet or the feet to the hands or a little bit of each. Before we come up, press your weight into the heels, widen through the thighs, tone the abdomen. Let's come up in the slow motion. Out and up. Great. Arms release down. Yeah, let's take the feet just right underneath you, right underneath the hip sockets, and take a little hula hoop asana. Nice, go the other direction. Okay, so let's set up the blocks at the front of the mat. We'll be doing some lunges and a warrior 3 variation here. So any height of blocks, just make sure they're accessible. And then we'll take that little squat descent again. If you want to do this one with the feet about hips width apart, great. If you prefer the wider stance, that's fine. So let's bend the knees a little, shift back a little. Remember, we're going to go lower in a second. Let's take hands to prayer. Press the heels firmly into the floor, widen through the upper thighs, tone the abdomen, and then shift a little further back, a little bit lower down. Yep. And then a little further back, a little bit lower down, as long as it's feeling fine. And on the next inhale, we come slowly up. Good job. Exhale, just down for a forward fold. Knees can be bent or straight. It's your choice. Halfway up, move the chest forward. Lower yourself down. Let's step the right leg back into a lunge pose. Hands on something. Yeah. All right. Now, as you're in this position, let's pay attention to the back leg. Lift up a little more through the inner thigh. Draw back through the pelvis, forward through the chest, lengthen long through the torso. And then on the left leg, press the heel just straight down into the floor. See if you feel that start to tone up through the back of the left leg. Yeah. And then feel what changes when you do a little push of the heel forward. It's not going to go anywhere. Yeah. And then do a little pull of the heel back. You might use your arms to help. Good. One more time, little push. One more time, little pull. And then be right in the center, just straight down. Let's move the blocks onto the highest height. Step the back leg in a little bit. Blocks come forward. And then you'll lift the right leg up from the inner thigh. Yeah. We'll keep the hands down. Can you press the top of the left thigh back? Move the chest forward. And then I'm going to keep a little bend in the left knee. You can do that too, or if you want to go straighter, you can. Just don't lock the knee out. Yes, yogis. Then from here, can you take just the left arm straight back? If not, don't worry about it. If you've done it, take the same arm straight forward, thumb up. Oh, yeah. And then hand releases down to the block. Let's come back into our lunge. You can walk the blocks back. That's it. Almost done here. One more thing. Left hand comes to the outside of the thigh. Press thigh and hand into each other. On the right leg, lift up through the inner thigh. Tone the abdomen. Take the right arm straight back. And then the same right arm straight forward if possible. Yes! Oh, so good. Set the right hand down, left hand down, bend the back knee, straighten out the front leg, and just wag your tail a little side to side. Oh, yeah. Oh, I didn't even see him come. Where did he come from? Yeah. All right, and then pause. Rebend the front knee. Let's step the back foot forward. Press down to rise up. Just get there. Yeah, we've done enough work. And then take the arms down. Let's stand in kind of a medium wide stance. Bend the knees slightly and just take a lazy, like a little twist side to side. Yeah. Sarah, are you okay? Yeah. It's work. It's like, oh, it's work. But I promise you get a big stretch in afterwards. So, yeah. The stretch is more satisfying if you've worked a little bit. Yeah. All right, guys. Let's get ready for side two. Are you ready? Okay, so blocks just available, and then we'll come into that slow descent with the squat. If you want to take the feet together for this one, you can. I'm going to stay apart. It's up to you. So, once you're ready, bend the knees, bring the hips back with Utkatasana. Neutral pelvis, press down through the heels, press wide through the thighs, hands to prayer. Yep, you've got it. And then we'll go a little further back, a little lower down. Thighs press out, heels press down. And then one more time, a little lower, a little lower. You got it. We come up slowly. Press into the heels. Yes, gorgeous. Out and up we come. And then forward fold. If you want to bend the knees, you can. Up to you. Halfway lift, chest moves forward. And then left leg steps back. Let's find our lunge on the second side. Any height of blocks or no blocks, your call with that. And then once you're in the position here, pay attention to the back leg. Lift up through the inner thigh. Draw the pelvis back, the chest forward, and then on the right leg, press the center of the heel straight down. Yes. And then feel what changes when you push the heel a little forward. This side, I feel like it's way more work on this side. And then pull the heel a little back. Do one more time forward. One more time back. That's it. And then just right in the middle. Stay there. Move the chest forward again. Find the length. Yeah. All right. Let's take the right hand to the outer thigh. Press thigh and hand into each other. Tone the belly. Take the left arm back. And then only if it's a good idea, take the left arm out forward. Diagonal line. Yes. Good. Down comes a hand. Down comes the other hand. From here, let's move the back foot in a little bit. Take the blocks up high. I'm just going to scooch back a little bit. And then as you're ready here, let's lift the left leg up. Lift from the inner thigh. That's it. On the right leg, press the top of the thigh back. Move the chest forward. And here we are in a warrior three variation. If you want to go straighter in the right leg, you can. Just don't lock the knee out. Let's take the right arm back, if you can. And then if you want to try it, take the same right arm forward. Oh, yogis. Oh, what happened? And then down comes the hand. Down comes the back leg, lunge pose. That's it. Let's bend the back knee, straighten out the front leg. Take a little tail wag. Oh, yeah, yogis. Well done. Well done. Good. And then let's rebend the front knee, re-lengthen the back leg. Step forward, reach down to rise up, just get there. Oh, yeah. And then set the arms down. How about Uttanasana? I think that'll hit the spot. The other direction. Good. Okay. And then let's take a little detour, and then we'll come back to something similar in a second. Yeah, so let's be at the front of the mat. Move this stuff out of the way. And then this time, just lift the arms. Yeah, no chair pose. Inhale. Exhale, we're down, forward fold. Knees can bend or not, up to you. Halfway up, chest moves forward. Lower it down, hands to the floor. Let's go to plank pose. Yep. From your plank, we'll lower down to the belly. And then from the belly, let's come into the forearm down position that we did earlier in child's pose. I'm going to repeat that version. Let the chest drop down for a second. And then on the inhale, draw the arms back, broaden the collarbones, lengthen to lift. Exhale, we lower back down. Take that 2 more times. We want to feel the work around the upper back, around the shoulder blades here. Good. And then last time. This time as we land, let's fold the hands, rest the forehead down, bend your knees so the feet are in the air, and let the feet swish from side to side. Yeah, just little windshield wipers. Good. All right. And then from here, let's head back into downward facing dog pose. Take your time to get there. Any version is fine. Yeah, and if you need to wiggle a little bit, pedal again, you can. Great. All right, friends. And then from the downward facing dog pose, let's bring the feet a little closer together, closer to each other, and then come forward into plank pose. Now, we'll be here for a little bit with some leg stuff. If you need to put the knees down, you can. Everybody broaden the collarbones, lift up through the abdomen, lift up through the right leg. Yes. And take the right leg a little to the side, back to center, step it down. Left leg, same thing, lift, little to the side, back to center, down, downward dog. Go ahead and go wide this time if you like that. Turn the toes in slightly so there's some internal rotation in the legs. Slight bend in the knees. Press down and forward with the hands. Send the thighs up and back and apart. And counter that a little in your feet. Hug in slightly through the ankles. And then re-lengthen the legs and keep the pigeon toe. Oh, yeah. Great. Now let's stay wide, but reset the legs so there's no more rotation. It's just neutral. And bend the knees. We'll crawl the arms back. Heels to the floor, forearms to the thighs. Press down to lift up. Inhale, we grow. Exhale, arms down. Oh, yogis, yes. Let's stand here, take another hula hoop. You can have the slight bend in the knees. Everybody's okay? Yeah. I guess you didn't want to stay and join us. All right. So for the next step, let's use your block. And then for any reason, if the block isn't working, if it's too high or you don't like it, you can do a folded blanket instead. So we'll come down, I'll mirror you guys. Let's have the left foot on the block, and the right foot is the side. And if balance-wise, if you need to have your hand next to a wall, you can. Yeah. Now at first, let the left hip just kind of shift a little to the side, which is ultimately not what we want, but just so you feel what happens. And then press the left foot firmly into the block, and at the same time let the outer hip hug in, and the right leg will lift a little as a result. Yeah. Yeah. And then we'll go again a couple of times. And it's fine if the toe steps on the floor. So we press the foot down, outer hip hugs in. Yeah, and I know these soft gray blocks are kind of squishy, that makes it harder. Do that a couple more times. Good. Now if this is challenge enough, you'll just keep doing this. If you want something else, next time you're in the hip hug in position, pause. Can you bend the right knee? Take the hands to prayer. Press them in towards the midline, and then just a little bit hinge the chest forward. You can bend the left knee. Just a little bit. Yeah? And then we come back up. Let's do that 2 more times. It's not easy. Not easy. Isn't it? Yeah, the squishy block makes it hard. Down comes the foot, down comes the other foot. We're done on that side. Oh, yeah. Just take a little break. Just a little, yeah. Now, we used to have some harder blocks. I don't know where they went. It's okay. Extra challenge on the squishy ones. Yeah. And then yours, I think, are fairly firm, aren't they? I think so. Yeah. All right. Let's, if you have a squishy block, flip it over so you get a more firm starting surface. And we'll do the whole thing on the second side. I'm so excited. Those things look so heavy. All right. Maybe, or you want to let me get the door for you. Make it earlier because I don't want you to fall. It's such a awkward position. Thank you, Sarah. Yeah. So that first. Yeah, and the stairs are very narrow too, so yeah, I hang on to the railing when I go yeah. All right, let's try we'll try to get second side done before he comes back. All right, so the left foot is up there, the right foot is next to it, and then let the hip go to the side, and then you'll push the foot down and let the hip hug in, and the left leg will lift a little. Yeah, and then go down. Do that a couple of times. This side's harder for me. Yep. Now you choose. If that's enough, you keep working on that one. If you want to try the next bit, pause in the hip hug in position. Bend the left knee. Let's take hands to prayer. And then we'll hinge a little. You can bend the right knee too. And then we come back up. Good. And go again. And back up. I'm going to lose it. And then one more time. One more time. And back up. And then down. Perfect timing. Perfect timing. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that thing looks so heavy. All right, guys. Nice work. So yeah, to just kind of release that exactly, we're going to take a forward fold, but we'll be kind of lazy about it. Have the feet as wide as is comfortable. And then choices, you can have the hands on the block and do sort of like a halfway position. If you want to come down with the forearms on the blocks, that's okay too. If you want to forgo the blocks and let the arms dangle or take the ragdoll position. It's up to you, yeah. So it's as narrow or wide as you like. Yeah. It's kind of lazy, yeah. And then it might feel good too to just kind of move from side to side. Yeah. Whatever helps you undo some of the stuff that we just did. Yeah. All right. And now we'll get to stretch out some of the stuff that was just working. So let's come back to stand. Down to rise up. And then arms down. Yes. Excellent work. Yeah. So let's do a quad stretch. We'll come down. We'll do it in a lunge variation, actually. So let's come stand at the front of the mat. Root down through the legs. Inhale up. Exhale down. We go forward fold. Inhale, it's a half lift. Lower yourself down. We'll bring the right leg back, knee to the floor or a blanket if you need that. Sit. And then before we do the big quad stretch, let's just take a few of these. Inhale, forward, lift the chest. Exhale, shift back, go straighter in the front leg. Yeah, take that a few times, and if you feel like you need to move the hands or the blocks, sometimes taking them back feels better. Now let's meet the next time we're in the forward position. Yeah? Sometimes just this is enough. Think about this. Can you, without going anywhere, try to drag the back leg forward and the front leg back and lift up a little through the low belly? Yeah, good. And then back off. If you want to add on, you can bend the right leg. Turn to the left and use the left hand to find the right foot. Yep. And then if you're in the position, back the pelvis up a smidge. Yes, it's a twist, yeah. Lift through the low belly, keep the belly lifted, and then shift the pelvis forward again. Oh, yeah. Good. And then very, very gently, you'll undo. Let's shift back. We'll stay on the same side for a second. Take the arms back as much as you need to so that you can move the chest forward and drop back through the tailbone. Yeah. Good. And then to add on, very slowly start to bring the sole of the left foot towards the floor. It may or may not actually get there. And then very slowly pull up through the toes, pull back through the rest of the foot. Let's do that one more time. So shifting forward, sole of the foot to or towards the floor. Yeah. And then we pull back and lift. Great. And then from here, let's rebend the front knee. Lift the back knee off the floor. We'll head into down dog. Oh, yeah. And take whatever you need movement-wise or stillness. Good. All right, friends, let's come to the front of the mat. So feet to the hands. Just a halfway lift. We'll use that to transition. And then when you come down, we'll bring the left leg back, knee to the floor or blanket if you need that. And then from the position here, inhale, it's forward, we create a little lift, and then exhale, we shift back. Yeah, take that a couple more times at your pace, your depth. Any height of blocks, no blocks. Good work, everybody. Let's pause the next time we shift forward. And before we do the leg lift, just try to drag the back leg forward and the front leg back, create a little lift through the abdomen. Yeah. And then back off of that. If you'd like to add on, you bend the left knee, lifting the foot, turn to the right, hold on, right hand to the left foot. This side's really tight for me. And then if you've done that, back the pelvis up just for a second. Lift the belly, keep the lift, and then shift forward again. Oh my goodness, it's almost like too much on this side. Do you have a tighter side?
I think the other one.
The first one was, but you had a good poker face.
Well, I wasn't home.
Okay, fair enough. Let's let it go. Yeah, let it go. And then we'll shift back so the front leg goes straighter. Take a little tail wag, side to side. Yeah. And Sarah, I'll suggest pulling the blocks back a little bit. Yes, you can have more room for the spine. And then let's pause with the pelvis right in the middle. And very, very slowly bring the sole of the foot towards the floor. Tibialis anterior. Yeah, and then pull the toes up, spread them out, and draw back. Do that a few times. We'll go very slowly, which in my opinion is more interesting. Yeah.
Actually, when I try to put my toes in,
The top of the foot. Yeah. What you can do, maybe just put the ball of the foot down, but not the toes. Yeah.
I mean, I say it's
stretch it. Do you feel like This whole line, right in there, right in there. All right, guys, I think we're done with these. Let's pause, rebend the knee, lift the back knee, and then downward facing dog pose. Yes. Take anything you like, movement, no movement, wide legs, narrow legs, you decide. You decide. Great. Okay, and then how about a child's pose? Let's set the knees down, bring the hips back. Yeah, if you want to wiggle a little bit, you can. Okay. And then from here, friends, let's come back up to a seated position. We'll have the left leg down and the right leg up. And you might be a little closer in. I need a little bit more space for myself, but just be relatively comfortable. And if you find either both sitting bones are not on the floor or you're kind of rolling back, go sit on something so you're a little elevated. Yeah. And then from here, let's have the left hand kind of close to the left hip. Bring the right elbow to the inside of the right leg. And as we inhale, press the back hand down to lift up. And then as we exhale, press arm and leg into each other. Create that little tone through the abdomen as we turn to the left. And then on the inhale, you'll just back off a little, redo the leg. And on the exhale, press and redo the twist. Let's do that one more time. Okay. And then from here, let's keep the legs. Bring the torso forward, and if you can hold on the hand to the pinky side of the foot, do. If that doesn't work, just hold on anywhere else. You pick up the leg, and we'll just stir it around gently. Good. And then we'll just pause, and we'll do a little bow and arrow, forward and back. I didn't check. Did he sweep the floor? He did. He did. Yes. He was so stealthy. Alright, pause, sit up tall, and draw the shin across. Let's hold on either to the heel and the knee, or if you're able to hold on to the elbow like this, you can. And then we'll take a little rock the leg, baby. And then, so your foot's a little here. Can you press more through the, yes, do that. Do you feel it in the hip? Yeah, awesome. So, from here, friends, well, let's do two options. Option one is Agni Stambhasana. The bottom foot comes a little forward and the shins stack, and they don't have to touch. Option two is Sukhasana with the right shin in front of the left. Yeah, let's do Sukhasana. If you're doing the other one at home, excellent. But let's all do this one in here. Press the floor down, lift the pelvis up, scooch back, and then come down. That's it. And then slide the thumbs to the hip creases. Press down, have the fingers kind of on the sides. Sit up tall. And then press the thumbs back as you hinge the chest forward. And then you choose if this is where you want to stay, you stay. You want to take the arms out, you can. Hands could be on blocks. Sometimes that feels better. Some of you, if you're fairly open here, can come down and put a block under the forehead. That's not me today. Yeah. And then anybody in any version of this could possibly add in a little side to side if that's desirable. And I don't know about you, but I find the hip stretches are way more satisfying if you've done some work there ahead of time. So, method to my madness today. As you're ready, we'll start to crawl back in, back to center. Yeah. Let's stretch the legs out long and just give them a little shake. Got it. Side two. So the right leg is down on the floor. The left leg is bent up, and of course you can be a little more compact. And let's take the right hand back and the left arm to the inside of the leg. As we inhale, press down through the right arm, sit up tall. And then as we exhale, tone the abdomen, find a little more rotation. So let's do that 2 more breaths like that. Inhale, we lengthen. And exhale, deeper twist. Yeah, 1 more time. Great. And then we'll back out of the twist. If you can hold on to the pinky side of the foot, do. If not, take any other grip and we'll just circle the leg around. Good. All right, and then let's pause and do a little bow and arrow. That's it. And then sit up tall, draw the shin across. Either hold hand to the heel and knee or elbows. And then we'll take our little like baby. Yeah, both of you guys come into, so instead of this foot position, be in this. Yes, yes, yes. So you reach more through the inner heel, and that'll affect the hip. Oh, yeah, I feel it. Yeah. It'll also be better alignment for the knees, so. Great. Now we'll pause, and then you choose either the double pigeon or the Sukhasana. And then once you figure that out, press the hands to the floor, lift the pelvis, scooch back and come down just a little bit. Slide the thumbs into the hip creases, press down to lift up, and then press back to hinge forward. Yeah. If you want to take the arms out ahead of you, you can. If you want to add in a little wobble, you can. Anything at all is fine here. And then when you're ready, come back into the center. Let's undo the legs. Take the legs out and just give them a little. Yeah. And then what we'll do next is kind of a supported bridge with some optional work for the abdomen, and we'll kind of see what happens there, yeah? So let me show you how to get there. You'll lay down with the knees bent, feet on the floor, and then you'll slide a block under the pelvis. And don't try to lay down on the block because that never works. Yeah. And at first, just rest. And this is meant to feel good. If it doesn't feel good, take something else that feels better. Yeah. And just rest for a second. Feels good to Now, if you want to just be here, chill for a couple minutes, do that. If you want to add on the next thing here, lift the legs off the floor and have the knees bent. And then you'll hold on to the left leg, lift the right leg up. We'll breathe in. And then as you exhale, let the right leg lower. I'm just going to go barely, but you can go lower than right. You'll pause on the inhale. And then use the exhale to take the leg back up to the center. Let's do 2 more on this side. So we inhale to pause, exhale to lower, tone through the belly as the leg goes down. And then on the next exhale, use the exhale to lift. Yeah, just 1 more round. Good. Awesome. And then we'll change sides. So the arms are on the right leg, left leg lifts. We inhale at the top. Tone the belly, lower on the exhale. Inhale to pause. Lift on the next exhale. Inhale to pause. Yeah, take that 2 more times on this side. And the next time we come back up to the center, we'll bend both knees. Let the feet come down one and then the other. Lift the hips, slide the block out, come all the way down. And then from here, widen your feet. Take the arms up by your head and just let the knees drop from one side to the other a couple of times. Just like a lazy windshield wiper. Yeah. And we'll pause the next time you go to the right side and reach the left knee out away from you and stretch back through the arms. Oh. Yep, and then we'll do the other way. So the legs drop over to the left, reach out through the right knee, stretch back through the arms. Let's take that one more time on each side with that little extra stretch. Yep. That's it. And then next time you come back to center, take the feet in slightly, just so they're not as wide. Take the right foot and bring it down in between the left buttock and the left foot, and then pick up the left knee and bring it in towards your chest. Yeah. So I'm gonna come up, but you guys stay. Even though we're pulling the left leg in, I'm guessing most of us will feel more sensation on the right side, like on the front. Yeah. Now remember in the very beginning, and sort of throughout the class, we did this breath with a little spinal movement. This is very subtle. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, create a little tone through the abdomen and imagine the low back becoming a little wider, a little more spread out in the back. Yeah? And then on the inhale, you'll back off a little bit. And find it again on the exhale. The low belly creates a little tone, the low back get a little width. Yeah. And for some folks, that gives a bit more of a stretch through the psoas muscle. Good. All right, very delicately, we'll set the left foot down, undo the right side, and then just for a second, take both hands on the thighs right at the hip crease, and just press straight ahead, hands into the legs. Yeah. And then, yeah, back that off. And yeah, just a little reset in between. Let's do the other leg. So the left one comes underneath. And then the right one pulls in and you'll hold on with the arms. Yeah. I forgot to say it on slide one. If you need a prop under the bottom leg, you can. For some people, it feels a little unstable. So if you need that, take it. And then once you're there, inhale, just relax. And on the exhale, just a little tone through the abdomen, a little more width across the lower back. And then you'll let that relax and take a few more breaths with that in mind, just very gently. It's possible to overdo, and we don't want to overdo. Good. And then when you're done, undo the legs, 2 feet on the floor. And let's take the thigh press again. So hands press straight into the thighs. I like to do this one on the exhale, the press on the exhale, and then back off on the inhale. But really, as long as you're breathing and as long as it's feeling good for you, do whatever works.
Feels like it's lengthening my spine.
Yeah, a yoga miracle. Great. And then when you're ready to come into Shavasana, that'll be our next place. Yeah, so you can lie down, you can sit, you could take props under the thighs, under the head, whatever you need, whatever feels good. Yeah. And as we settle, without any effort on your part, just imagine not just the lower back, but the whole back of the body widening, taking up a little more space. Allow the front of the body to settle, both downward and inward. And relax your face, your eyes, your jaw, and even your ears. Begin to deepen your breath. And take any sort of movement, something small, back into your body. If it feels good to stretch or reach through the arms and the legs, maybe you add them into. And when it feels right, you can bend the knees and roll to one side. And then from the side, take your time to come back up to center. We'll meet sitting. Any way you want to sit is good. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. Namaste.